double, double.
Hey everybody, welcome. Thanks for showing up. This is Dubl A, Greg Aalvik, and I'm here to talk about spiritual warfare. We're going through one lesson after the other. I have a whole series coming up here. Want you to join up, hit like, and do all that stuff. And we're going to get into some stuff because right now I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how they struggling. Right? COVID is going on. We in isolation. We're getting lockdowns. Man, it was tough. I witnessed a lot of people going through a lot of struggles, and I've been seeing and hearing about millions just really hating it. We're getting struggle. We have anxiety. We get loneliness. We just sitting there by yourself all the time. Normally we spend our time doing stuff all the time. We're so busy, right? You're looking at your phone, you're seeing things, even you're sitting around at a restaurant, you're sitting with people, you don't even talk to them, you're on your phone doing this kind of thing. So sitting around with nothing to do, a lot of us realize that we don't like ourselves too much. We don't like this whole thing, and it's really been depressing. It's really made us struggle spiritually. Most people think spiritual warfare is going to be all about demons and devils and praying and splashing oil and speaking in tongues and getting the angels to come in and fight your war and all that kind of stuff. Spiritual warfare, and got to put on the armor of God. And I give credit this present darkness. And another one followed that up with Piercing the Darkness. Frank Peretti was the author's name. And anyway, Frank, kind of like J.K. Rowling did Harry Potter, you know what I mean? And just described the whole world of nonsense that's out there. And this is kind of like when you adopt this world of demons and angels and all this, and you really get into Frank's picture, you spend a lot of time in a realm that may or may not even exist. It's invisible. I mean, I can make up any kind of shit I want to, as long if it's invisible. It's like the emperor's new clothes, you know what I'm saying? You just make shit up and people believe it, and wow. Well, in the realm of invisible things, I have just as much credibility as Frank Peretti does, or anybody else is talking about shit you can't see. So I'm going to tell you what I think it is, and then you can compare it over the invisible imaginary realm of demons and ghosts and goblins and ghouls and weird kind of entities and creatures. It's a crazy realm that if you get into it, it'll take you down. It won't ever lift you up because it's not true. And I find truth is the meter. You want to take truth and go, is what this, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if this is true or that's true. What works? What actually clears up the issue you got with your anxiety? Do you got a demon of anxiety hanging out in your house? You're going to pray it away, dab oil, take some stuff. You got a demon of this or a demon of... You got a demon of poverty. I've got a demon of poverty. We need to pray. You might want to get up and get a job. You know what I mean? Get rid of that demon. It's the best way. It's not oil. It's going to be, you know what, if you're going to be hearing this squeakiness, there's a demon in my chair. We can take some, actually, oil would work on this, wouldn't it? WD-40 kind of oil. I wonder if that works on demons too. The demon of the squeaky chair. Anyway, if you can live with this demon in my chair, I'm going to keep proceeding with this talk. So we're talking about what's truth? What truth actually works? What's the Bible say? And the truth will set you free. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. If you're not free, it's only because you ain't heard the truth. Get that? If you're not free, whatever it is that's holding you or binding you or imprisoning you or addicting you or whatever it is, it's because you haven't heard the truth. That's what sets you free, not something else. All right? So that's the way you want to look at it. So if you're still screwing around with it, man, I went to church all this time. I've got to tell you, people would pray. You'd come down front and get prayer. And everyone would gather around and pray over him, or the pastor would pray over him. And you could come down every single night and you pray over people. You come back 10 years later, same people praying over the same problems. You know why? Because it's not working. The prayer wasn't working. Prayer changes things. Yeah, changing your thought life and your ideas is what changes things. Here's the big spiritual warfare verse, Ephesians 6:12. And Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So that sounds pretty Frank Peretti-like. It says that these principalities and powers and these rulers of this world aren't flesh and blood. So that suggests they're demonic. It doesn't say that they are. It just says that whoever is ruling the darkness, whoever is ruling in this realm that we're wrestling against, is not flesh and blood. That's all it says. But another verse comes along, and this is what I want to get you into, because this is where I believe the battle is won. And this is 2 Corinthians 10:4 and 5. 2 Corinthians 10:4 and 5. It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds." Verse 5, "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." I'm going to reread that little by little and speak about it a little bit, because the weapons that we're fighting with, well, if you're not fighting, they're not carnal. You can't touch them. If you grab an oil and sling an oil, it's carnal. Oil you can touch. And except for the chair, I can help the chair with the oil, but the chair is carnal too. So I can touch it. If you can't touch a thought or an idea or a doctrine, okay, you can't touch it. It's something that exists in the invisible realm. And this is what Paul's talking about in 2 Corinthians. He's saying, pulling down a stronghold. A stronghold is like an idea, because this is casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. So he's talking about knowledge of God, the knowledge of God. So if you have the knowledge of God, and then you have another imagination that goes above the knowledge of God, that in your mind, that you put it higher than God. I'll give you an example. I think hell is one of those doctrines. You believe in hell. Hell, what's hell? Hell's eternal separation from God. That's what they say. You learn this in church. It's eternal separation from God. It's a place of perpetual darkness. It's a place where wicked people are punished. You're going to go to hell if you're not good, and if you don't pray the right prayers and say Jesus' name in the right way, you're going to go to hell in a bobsled. And it doesn't even make sense, because the knowledge of God says God is omnipresent. That means he's everywhere at once. God is omnipresent. So if you just listen, remember this one thing. God is omnipresent. This is lesson 1. God is omnipresent. That should be exalted into a position with God above every other thing you might imagine. Every other idea that you bring into your head has to go up against that, and you place it accordingly in a lesser position in your priority list of doctrines. But God gets the highest spot. And since God is everywhere, and he fills all time and space, you can't find a place. Like, you can go anywhere in this whole universe, and you can't come up with a place anywhere where, oh, see this spot right here? God isn't there. God's there too. That's why hell is impossible. Hell is impossible because God is omnipresent. And people have taken hell, the doctrine, and exalted it. And they'll argue against what I'm saying right now. They've exalted it against God's omnipresence, the knowledge of God. And God is everywhere. So how can there be a hell? How can there be a place where you can be separated from God? You want your first lesson to really pay dividends in your life? Just adopt God is omnipresent into your life and stop thinking in your lonely situation there at home with your COVID lockdown, and it's miserable and horrifying, that God isn't there. That you need to be closer to Him. So, there's people right now that are thinking, I know it is, they're thinking I just need to get closer to God. I need to get closer. I need to be better. I need to change my life around so God will hang out with me. Well, you see, that's the doctrine of hell playing a role right now with your head. It's getting in there, it's messing with it, with the idea that God isn't near you now. If you had the knowledge of God, that God is in you, through you, there is no place in you that God isn't. I don't care how much sin you've done. I don't care what you've done. I don't care. Neither does God. God's grace is sufficient. God is everywhere, and there's nothing you can do to shake Him. And you can do to lose Him. Do you hear me? There's nothing you can do to frighten Him away. There is no sin that He hasn't forgiven. I mean, that's the whole story of Jesus, right? If you're going to get Christian about it, you just realize Jesus forgave all sin. Past, present, future. He forgave all sin. You don't even have to ask. It's forgiven because when He died on it, it was forgiven. He forgave you. That's what forgiveness is like Him forgiving you. That's a whole nother lesson. But you need to understand that sin doesn't separate you from God, because nothing can separate you from God. And the love of God, God is love. So you can never be separated from the love of God. No matter what. And there's nothing you've done that causes you to be alone right now or far from God. That's in your imagination. Your imagination and the thoughts and ideas that you've absorbed into your head and you have adopted has created a place where you feel far away from God. Because people told you things and you agreed with them. Now, what we need to do right now is we need to take this doctrine that says you can be separated from God. God will leave you if you're a bad person. If you go into a bar, God will leave. I used to get told that shit. That's not true. You can't shake Him. You can't lose Him. He'll go anywhere you want to go. He's right there with you every second of every day. He's in you. He's part of you. Right? If your spirit is hearing this, your spirit is from God. It's part of God. It is God. And that spirit is agreeing right now with what I'm telling you. It's going, that's the truth. That brother's got something going on. He's right. Right? If you can hear that, then you can accept, yeah, I've been lied to. Bro, wow, what's up with that? God's right here. And you can feel it just come around you, come inside you, and just fill you up, because your imagination is allowing it to happen. Your imagination can alienate you, or your imagination can bring you as close and as unified with God as you can possibly be. You can be made one with Him right now just by believing. That's how you are saved, by faith, by what you believe. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the spiritual warfare. That's the practical thing, and that's just one subject. You get lied to on one subject, and it has devastating results. So that's what we're going to approach. We're going to approach coming up with these things that snatch truth away from us and have us wrestling in areas of our imagination that give us depression, anxiety, fear, anger, hatred. All these things all stem from a warfare that we're in that we don't know how to win yet. So that's what we're going to address. I want you guys, would you hit the subscribe button? Tell your friends about me. Now, you got to hear this dude. He talks about the Bible and shit, and he don't talk like other people, man. He's really different. You got to hear him because he's crazy. Anyway, hit the like button too, because that helps me. I want to try to keep a bunch of these flowing on here. I'll be making video after video with y'all. I'm really looking forward to getting together. Hopefully this has helped you. And leave a comment, leave a message, do whatever you have to do. And let's talk about this Dubl A spiritual warfare.
Double. 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 Double.